Alright, welcome back. So today I'm going to glue some tires because I've been asked to do this on camera and I don't know why. I've showed several times on how I glue tires using rubber bands on drag cars, but on the bashers, you know, I didn't feel like it was something that I had to show. But people want to see it. So what I always do is I'll take dishwashing soap and a sponge and I'll wash them. Now these I haven't washed yet, but these two I have. So these two here are the front two and they're the ones really coming apart. The back ones are not. So but I am going to throw some glue on the back ones and I'll do that off camera, but I'm going to show you basically what happens to these Duratrax. As you see right here, what happens is it'll keep ripping all the way around this tire because it's unglued right in that spot. See how that's unglued? So what ends up happening is this will eventually rip the bead all the way around and possibly rip the tire. And when you get this thing stretching as far as it's stretching, as you see, it starts eating up right here. You can see all this stuff hanging off on the section that that is ballooning, because this is hitting the ground before anything else, on top of hitting the body. So you can see the tread everywhere else is good until you get to the section right here. See how that's eaten up, and that's eaten up because it's hitting the ground so hard and out of balance right in that spot. It's tearing up the tire. And if you don't catch it and you're out there bashing it and you're not listening, then you could ruin this tire and they'll be done. But if you can catch it like I've been catching it, you can glue them and they'll last a long time. Now I haven't cracked a rim. Some people were talking about cracking a rim. Now you can see right here, there's a glue mark. And I'm not sure, I don't think I've glued these. But I might have glued the inside of a couple of these tires. But it doesn't look like it because it's too clean. My glue jobs are a lot of glue. Especially on these big tires. So here's some Proline tire glue, and I buy specific tire glue, part number 6031-00. So I buy tire glue. You can buy CA glue that kind of works, but tire glue is the best because it'll stretch. It doesn't get hard, it doesn't get brittle. And then definitely don't spray your glue with any kind of alcohol or anything to make it dry quicker. Another thing is, if this busts the bead all the way around like I had to do on the last Duratrax, I had to stick rubber bands and stuff around it to kind of suck it to the rim, because it just kind of fits in there loosely because it's been stretched way out. So we're going to go ahead and get this opened up, and this is about $15 worth of glue. And this will do, on these big tires, it'll probably do 2 or 3 sets. And they always give you these little tire things, but I don't use those. Had to get the ones that I do use. Here are the ones I use, these little green ones. It's $5.99 for a package of them. These are the ones I like to use. And the reason being is this tip isn't as long, but I mean, these will work. I'll just cut them, I can cut them down short. Maybe we'll do that. But let's open this bottle up and see what is going on here. Okay, so there's no nothing inside of it. Alright, that's kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. This one they supplied. I want to give it a shot. I don't need it that thin because I'm doing big tires. So, and I'm going to taper it a little bit. That kind of pops right on there. We're going to just add some, see how it comes out. See, that comes out pretty good. So I'm just putting it right around the sections, and right there I have a little rip. So I'm going to glue up that rip. Right there, there's a little tiny rip. Yeah, see, it's right where it starts to come apart. And I'm really going to lay it in that groove. Lay it pretty heavy in there. And then when it doesn't pull away anymore, we're going to just lay a little bit. And right there, I'm not dragging, I'm not squeezing the bottle. I'm just trying to drag some of this overflow glue around using the tip. So I'm going to bring you guys down a little bit closer. Alright, since I am left-handed, this way you can see what is going on. So I'm taking my thumb, trying to stretch it open. I'm going to lay some glue up in this little bead so it'll stop ripping the tire. Trying to fill in that whole gap with glue. And then at this point, we're going to let this tire dry just like it is. And I can feel it burning my eyes a little bit, which means it's really starting to melt into that rubber. So we're going to let that sit overnight before we flip it over and do the other side. So let me grab the other one that's not so bad, because this one's really not like coming apart like right there. You can see that section starting to come apart, and that's where we're going to have the issue. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this part that that's coming away the worst. We're going to start there, and we're going to add a bunch of glue in there to where it fills that up. And see, when I let it go, see how it overflows a little bit? We're going to clean that up a little bit. I'm going to spread that through the whole tire. Now I'm squeezing the bottle. Look at that, rim's cracked right there. Not really a crack, it's a chip. We're just going to put a bead all the way around this edge. And see how I'm spreading it open a little bit to let the glue really get in there. Any part that that might have a hole or starting to maybe come unglued, because this is a flat surface and it's not sitting in like any kind of glue, any kind of groove. I really want to get the glue in any of the sections that are possibly coming out. See how when I pull that away, it just kind of opens up and sucks some glue in. And make sure that we get it all the way around, just like that. Make sure that the rim is nice and tight on both of them. We're going to let that sit just like that and let it sit overnight, and then do the other side. So this one, I'm going to clean the surface. So I'm going to just grab some all-purpose cleaner and try to clean this as best I can. And this is without dish soap. Basically, we just want the area that we're going to glue. Oh, I knocked my glue over. See how dirty that is? good. Clean up the other one. Oh, that's the wrong one. I've already glued that. See, this one feels like it's coming undone. I'm really trying to shove the towel and the cleaner up into that that crack area. And this is if you don't have dish soap. Just take any kind of cleaner, alcohol, anything that's not going to really leave a residue. But if you wash it in the dish soap and hot water like I did with the other ones, then just let them dry for a day, because you definitely don't want any water in them. Alright, that feels pretty good. So when I try to do them to save the tip, so I'm not wasting a tip just gluing one tire. So you can see it coming apart right there. And it's those little spots that are coming apart that really turn into big spots when you're out bashing. See, and that one's all up on the rim. So I'm going to drag that over a little bit. I'm not squeezing the bottle, I'm just trying to drag the glue around rather than just have a big puddle right there. Go. Looks pretty good. It's okay if it gets on the rim. Don't wipe it, just let it dry. It will suck in as much as it can suck in. Now you can see how this one is really high right there. It's like bulging out. So I'm gonna move the foam over, because what's happening is the foam is getting expanded and bunching up right there. So I kind of want to get, see, and that wasn't glued too well right there. It really needs to be like that. But we're going to fill that gap up with some glue. Whole gap. Look at that gap. This one's got a big gap. All the way around this tire. There we go. That's pretty much it. See, this one could use, I'm gonna grab some rubber bands, I think. Got some Game Changer rubber bands. Just gonna add a little bit. So I got I don't know, 4 or 5 rubber bands. We're gonna go ahead and stick on this thing. Put some pressure like that right on this outer thread or tread, just to get some pressure put on this thing high up so it doesn't slip. We're really going to get that thing to seat down in there. So we're locked in. We're a little high there, which is good because that's right where I need it. So I went a little low here because this one's not puffed out, but this side is. Put the rubber bands up high to really squeeze this thing together and get this sidewall to bite to the rim again, because it's starting to come unglued, starting to squeeze up, and it's leaving a big gap. And you can see all the glue that's coming out now from us squeezing it. So I'm gonna kind of roll that around. There we go. We're gonna let that sit overnight. So this tip is no longer any good. So get that tip off of there. And make sure you close up your glue nice and tight. Make sure it's sealed up. And you can see we used almost half a bottle doing 4 tires. So imagine when you do the backside how low a bottle of glue is going to be. And that's a pretty big bottle, but there's the part number. This is made by Proline. Some pretty good glue. And I'm going to get this tip thrown away. And that's it. That's pretty much how I glue tires, my basher tires. Now I glue my drag tires a little bit different because I want them balanced. I want the foam, all that. And I've showed that in previous videos. But that's going to end this. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if this is helpful. I'll flip them over tomorrow and do the other side. And then we should be good. You can see this is almost dry enough to where I can do the other side. And if all the glue disappears and you don't see any glue, then add another coat to the top of it. If all this glue disappears, that means it's sucking into all those little cracks and crevices, and maybe you might want to think about adding another layer to the top of that. But there we go. I never turn it over and do the other side until it's cured on its own, and I don't spray it because that makes the glue brittle. This glue has to flex. It's tire glue. It needs a little flex in it. And if you see any cuts on the sidewall anywhere, throw some glue on it. Let it sit overnight. It'll rebond. It'll stop it from ripping. So there you go, guys. Earl's quick tip. I don't know how quick that was, but that tip that came with this Proline bottle worked out pretty good. But like what I found, most anything that's labeled as tire glue works great. Anything that's labeled like CA glue, that kind of stuff, it works temporarily, but it becomes brittle and it won't last. So get yourself some tire specific glue. It really does do the trick, and it does allow it to stretch. And it bites as hard as it can to the plastic rim. So there we go, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on my next video.